Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. Today's video we're having a baking day. These are the ingredients that I'll be using to make my chocolate chip cookies. So let's get into the video. There are some substitution and changes that I've made, and I will go through them throughout the video. So let's start with a bowl, and we're gonna add a quarter cup of yogurt and a quarter cup of oil. This recipe called for a half a cup of butter or oil, but because I don't want my cookies to have such high fat content, I opted for a quarter cup of yogurt, which also brings moisture to whatever you're making, and I added a quarter cup of oil. After mixing it all together, now I'm gonna go ahead and add the next ingredients. I'm going to be adding in sugar. The recipe calls for around a cup of sugar, but I'm only adding 3/4 of a cup of sugar, just so that it is not as sweet, but it still has some sort of taste or flavor to it. I don't think it is necessary to add all of the sugar. Sometimes it makes the cookies very sweet and you don't get to enjoy it or eat as much as you like to. In a cup, I beat 1 egg, but I'm only using half of it. This recipe calls for 1 egg, but I'm saving the other half because I'm doing an oatmeal raisin cookie as well. I mix it all in. Next, I'm going to gradually add in the flour bit by bit. I think I did maybe a third at a time, and then I'm gonna add in my baking soda, baking powder, and salt. I like to add these in very early in the game so I don't forget them, but also so that they're mixed in. You don't like the taste of baking soda, and I don't like it either. Okay, let's continue to mix in, and then we're gonna add another flour. I'm just gonna mix in the flour bit by bit because it can be a real mess to add in it all at once. And do you guys see how creamy that texture is? I love making cookies. My favorite cookies, I think, is oatmeal raisins. There's something about it. I love chocolate chip cookies, but oatmeal raisins just hit the spot for me. So I'm just mixing it in, and just make sure that I mix in all the flour before I go ahead into the next step. Let me know if you guys will prefer more baking videos. I'm always trying to bring out whatever content you guys want, but let me know. So I added in 2 chocolate chip bars in chocolate bars. I don't like to use chocolate chips. I love chocolate, especially when it's hot out of the oven and it's melty and all of that stuff. It's just and gooey. I prefer chocolate 100% over chocolate chips. So while I'm doing the rest of the recipes, I'm gonna go ahead and put this into the fridge. If you don't know, cookies are the best when you put it in the fridge before you put it in the oven. So I'm gonna let this sit in the fridge for maybe close to an hour, and then I'm gonna go ahead and continue with the other recipes. So the next thing I'm going to be baking is some oatmeal raisin cookies. At the beginning of each recipe, each thing that I'm baking, I place the calorie per the item. Whether cookies or muffin, I place the overall calorie for the batch. So if you're interested in following my recipe for tea, I hope you can look at it and to see what exactly you are consuming. So same thing, quarter cup of yogurt and quarter cup of oil. Everything here is the same except we're taking out the chocolate chips and we're putting in oatmeal, and in this place not raisins but currant. So I'm just gonna let some music play in the background, and then when we get to the next thing, then I'll come back, because this is just the same exact ingredients except for the oatmeal and the raisins. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it on this container and place it in the refrigerator with the chocolate chip cookies to chill until it is ready to bake. Okay, next I'm going to be making some banana cranberry oatmeal muffin. So these are the ingredients, and as usual I do have the calorie for each muffin and for the overall batch. So please go ahead and check it out if you're interested in doing this recipe. So it calls for 3 bananas, but I'm doing 2 just because I'm not the biggest fan of banana, but yeah, so I'm just gonna smash those up real quickly, and then we're gonna go ahead and add some sugar to that. So I think this recipe calls for a cup of sugar. The other one for the cookies called for about almost a cup. So I'm using the same measurements as I said. I don't want my goods too sweet, so I'm only using a 3/4 cup of sugar for this recipe as well. So I'm just gonna mix the banana and the sugar together, and just to mix and incorporate it, but to also smash the banana some more. Then I'm gonna add in, this recipe calls for sour cream, but instead I'm adding in yogurt, and I'm adding a 1/4 cup of yogurt. It asks for a 1/4 cup of sour cream and some butter, so I added some melted butter in it. The recipe did ask for egg, but I'm not a big fan of egg. I just like it in my cookies, so I didn't put any in it, and I've noticed with or without eggs it tastes just fine. So there will not be any egg in this recipe. So if you're not a person who is a fan of egg, then this is the perfect recipe for you. Alright, moving on. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing, just add in the flour bit by bit. And I think this time I actually forgot to add in the rising ingredient, which that would have been a total blow, because these cookies are so good. I mean, muffins, they're so good and they're so soft, and so it would have been it would have been really bad if I hadn't noticed it. So I'm just gonna keep adding the flour in, and yeah. Now I'm adding in the oats, and I'm adding in some cranberries that I've cut up and some currants, and just mix those in. I love currants, dried currants. The ones that I get at supermarket are a bit sweeter, and I'm surprised because I'm accustomed to like sour currants. So I'm not sure if those have been like added sugar, but they're like dried fruit, so I'm not sure. But yeah, currants in anything is delicious. So I'm just gonna mix that in, and you guys see I haven't put in the rising ingredients as yet. There it is. And always put a little bit of salt, no matter how sweet the dishes that you're baking. Always put salt. Salt just helps to in a way, like bind all the flavors and ingredients together, and it just helps to also enhance the flavor. So here it is, and this is it for the banana cranberry muffin. I'm moving on to granola. I make granola once a month, and I'm using 3 cups of oats. I already greased the pan. I added about quarter cup of raisins and a quarter cup of cranberry. I'm just gonna mix them up first by hand, and in the meantime I had a half a cup of sugar and about 2 tablespoons of water on a pot, just melting the sugar. You don't want it to boil or thicken up, you just want the sugar to melt, and you're just gonna pour the sugar all over this granola mixture. The last time I added nuts and everyone really liked it. Unfortunately, I did not look for any nuts this week, so we're just gonna have it simple. And you can add whatever you want to add to it, as long as it has nutritional values. You can add whatever you want, but this is just like the basic ingredients for granola. So once I put the liquid in, I'm just gonna mix it all up and then go ahead, as this is the first thing that I actually put in the oven, and put it into the oven. So next I am going to go ahead and put the muffin mixture in this disposable muffin tin, and it's disposable, but I've been using it for the past couple of months, just because if it's not broken, don't fix it. But it holds the muffin really well. So what I did, I didn't add a lot to them, just because I intended to fill up 3 trays of muffin mixture. So once the 3 trays were filled, I went back and I added in whatever was left back equally into all the trays. So this is not the final amount after what I went back and added some. So these are how they are looking, and I'm just gonna go ahead and pop them into the oven. And yeah, so while these are in oven, the granola and the muffin, these are the cookies I made. Quite bigger cookies than I used to. I normally used to make around 15 or 16 chocolate chip cookies, so I made them big. I had 10, and this is the granola. This time a lot of them actually stick together, which I really like, and this is how it's looking in the container. I actually love making my own granola. I know the ingredients and it tastes so much better. The muffins are done. I'm telling you, I'm such a huge big fan of the muffins, and I usually make them so that I can have them for breakfast some mornings, just easier. And the cookies are also done as well. I love how they turn out. They are very moist, and yeah, I was gonna give you guys a taste test, but unfortunately I didn't have the time to. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you guys want more baking videos, and I'll get that done, and I'll see you guys in the next time. Until then, bye.